Welcome. Let's take a look at new public defender tools and enhancements in LegalServer. We're going to be taking a look at some new enhancements and improvements that are available now and coming soon within LegalServer itself. And hopefully, as we go through this session, you'll be able to find some gems or things that you're interested in that you may employ to make your life of your workers and yourself more efficient, more effective using our case management system. One of the big things is we're always trying to improve LegalServer, and we have weekly releases of new features and updates and enhancements to LegalServer that hopefully you'll find is a way that you can improve your efficiencies and effectiveness of using a case management system, spending more time actually doing the work rather than entering the data. So the goal here is to take a look at some things that we have out in the wild right now that you can use in LegalServer, and then also a few things that you'll be able to see coming up in the not too distant future that you may also want to employ. What you can expect is you're going to know what's new and what we're working on. A few of the examples that we'll be looking at today. And we'll also hopefully make you feel more emboldened that LegalServer is continuing to improve its case management efficiencies to make your job and your life a little bit easier. First, let's take a look at some of the new releases, things that are actually out in the wild now that you can employ or turn on in your version of LegalServer, and you can start using today. One of the things that a lot of public defenders use heavily is the case number or cause number. In LegalServer, we use a matter identification number, and that's kind of the main piece of information that you can use to find a case. If you use this feature and enable it, you can actually replace the LegalServer matter case ID with the cause number of the case, and you can use that for search, and you can actually have that show up in different places like the breadcrumb trail, different list views and messages in the calendar, and so on and so forth. As we're doing our work, we often spend a lot of time entering and reviewing notes. Sometimes we have cases for more than one person that allows us to have multiple cases in the system, and we may not want to copy those notes from one case to another. A recent release was the ability to copy case notes to multiple cases on creation or after. This is something that you can have turned on. It basically adds some options to the case note block to allow you to transfer, delete notes, and also copy to multiple cases. One of the things to note is this doesn't allow us to copy documents at this time, but it does copy the body of the case note to all the cases you choose. On the same vein of bulk editing information, one of the things that can be useful too, if you ever use it, is the client profile. And we also have a new ability to allow you to bulk edit client information, some of the demographic system fields like their address, email address, things like that. If you have this turned on, you can then go in and change that information and have it applied to all the cases that you choose, either all the cases for that client or even just a subset. You can determine what you want to do. Related to the client profile, we also have some additional configurations that can be useful for public defenders. You may not care about all the things that are there currently, but you have the ability to turn on or off things like the family member list view, or turn on things like the charges list view, show things like the cause number. So in the admin section, you can use this currently. You can go in and you can edit the client profile configurations to show or not show things that may be useful to you and your staff. Switching gears a little bit, talking about alerts in LegalServer. This is something we've had for quite some time, but we've done some work to make these more useful and more visible in different places. We have the ability to have different alert types now with different colors. So if you wanted to have certain type of alerts that you wanted to identify on cases or on your home screen to show certain information, you can have those alerts. You can create your own alert types, and you can determine what color you want to use when that alert shows up. We also have the ability now to bulk dismiss multiple alerts. So if you're currently using alerts and you have a lot of them, or it's hard to keep up with those, we do have the ability now to bulk dismiss alerts in LegalServer. One of the other things related to alert enhancements is we have the ability to have the alert on the home page and the case itself be independent of each other. So there are some alert settings in the admin section that allow you to make that distinction. And you can also show alerts now in some of the different list views in LegalServer. Moving on to tasks and calendar, we've done some work on enhancing the calendar. One of the things that we have the ability to do now is to default users on certain task types in the system. That's a setting on the block that you can choose. We also have the ability to update calendar events on cases in mass or in bulk. There's a block that allows you to update all of the calendar events that are on a case. If you wanted to update the users that are assigned to that particular case, and you also wanted to update who is responsible for those different events, like maybe a court hearing, then you could do that using this block in LegalServer. Office restrictions. This is important for those of you that may have a statewide agency or have multiple offices, and you need to also have some confidentiality between those different offices. Maybe Office A isn't supposed to see case information in Office B. What these office-based restrictions allow you to do is to limit which users can see what information. So if a case is assigned to a particular office, if I'm in that office and that office is on my user profile, then I should be able to see that office, or that case, excuse me. If I'm not in that office, though, and the case is not in my office, then I wouldn't be able to see it. This configuration allows you to turn on some limits or some restrictions based on the office, and you can also then control on certain list views what people will see. As an example, on the Cases list view, on the Cases tab, you can have that default to only show cases that are in the user's office. Circling back to our notes, we also have made some updates where we can now have pin notes, which allows you to surface or percolate certain notes up to the top. This will allow you to see those notes right at a glance without having to scroll through the many, many notes you may have on one case that's been open for quite some time. And you can choose which notes to pin or unpin to show them there. We also then have the ability, if you're using the flow block, which is a nice feature in LegalServer, to show just the pin notes on the flow block so that people don't have to go down to the case notes list and see all the list and look for the notes they're looking for. So if there's some very important information that you want to see, you can pin that note so it is shown at the top of the list, but also will be shown on the flow block. Related to that too is there are going to be some list views like the My Assignment list view that also allow you to see those pin notes. So if you wanted to see some important information, you could pin the note on the case, and then on your My Assignments list view, those pin notes will also show up. Charges are an important thing in LegalServer and in the criminal world. So if you're working on cases that have a lot of charges, we've done some work on our enhanced charges block to make it more useful and more easier to handle where you're adding and viewing charges in the system. One of the things that we've done is we tried to make it a little bit more compact. We've done things like defaulting the charge date, allow people to duplicate or copy charge entries. So if you have multiple of the same charge, you don't have to re-enter it 4 or 5 times. You can use the duplicate charge option so you don't have to re-enter that data. We have the ability to default and hide the top charge field. In LegalServer, you are required to have one, but only one top charge. If that is not important to you, you can use the feature to default and hide the top charge field so that your users don't have to click one extra button. We also have the ability to use penalty class weight to default a top charge. So there's multiple ways to do that there. And we're going to continue to enhance and update ways that the charges can be more efficient and more effective in LegalServer. Some of the fancy new features that are out now, if you are an office that uses Microsoft and you have a Microsoft Office 365 subscription, we have an integration that allows you to also use your Office 365 account within LegalServer. What that means is that your documents then can be edited in place in time. So clicking on the icon for the Word document would open it up in Office 365, allow you to edit it, save it, and that updates LegalServer. And so this is a way that using an outside program that does documents really well, we're going to leverage their behavior within LegalServer. So if you're using Office concurrently and you'd like to hear more about that, definitely hit us up in our support channel to find out more about that, or check out our help site to find out more about the Office for the Web integration. One of a new big module that we've been working on currently is our Contractor module. This is an add-on feature that you can choose to add on to LegalServer. The purpose here is basically to be able to manage contract attorney case information, to simplify the interactions with outside counsel, private assigned counsel, or a third-party investigator or expert. Some people would refer to this as managed assigned counsel or alternate defense counsel, things like that. Basically, LegalServer provides a comprehensive set of tools to manage activities, time, and expenses with contractors or private attorneys, third-party investigators, or experts. With the module, then you can manage important information about each contract attorney or expert, including types of cases handled, number of cases taken, cases open, time spent, billing information like invoicing, and also communication with that contract attorney or that investigator or expert. So it's a nice new feature. Again, check out our help site if you want to learn more about that, if you're interested to maybe try that out. I also want to take a look at what's new and coming soon to LegalServer, some of the things we're working on heavily. So I'll go through a couple main features here and talk about some other tools that you can be looking at that'll be coming out on the horizon. Magic Notes is a new feature in LegalServer that we are going to be releasing in not too distant future. Basically what this allows you to do, as you can see on the screen here, is if you click the bottom left corner of the notes editor, you'll be given a QR code that will expire in roughly 10 minutes. You can use that code to open up your device, like your smartphone. It allows you to take a picture and upload like a handwritten or printed document, as well as like MP3 audio files. And then what we'll do is we'll use that information to basically upload them automatically into the notes within LegalServer. You can then edit or add information to them. So the Magic Notes is coming out soon, kind of leveraging the new machine learning or AI that's out there. So the Magic Notes feature will be coming out soon, but basically allows you to upload without having to retype a handwritten note or a printed document, something that you have outside of LegalServer by using your smartphone or tablet, where you can just take a picture and then have it automatically created within LegalServer in the notes. Another new feature that is coming on the horizon is our automated intake. We're looking at using AI to extract information from a form to basically create a new case within LegalServer. So what this basically allows you to do is upload a file, such as a paper intake form or a court document, to LegalServer, and have LegalServer extract the information from your document and populate the data fields into LegalServer. This also supports scanned documents, typed or handwritten documents. It is something that we are beta testing right now, and hopefully we'll have out in the not too distant future. This will require you all to have an open AI key for your site so that you can have that availability here. But it is going to be a nice new feature that could save a lot of time, create some efficiencies so that you don't have to re-enter that data from a document you may have already had filled out. Some of the other things we're working on is a lot of data visualizations. Basically, what this is allowing you to do is to have new dashboards for reporting information, so that you might have a manager's home screen or something that would show like all of my open cases for my whole agency by the district or the office, or maybe show me something like how many cases have we opened up by office or district in the past week or month. What are the different case types that we have? Maybe you want to keep track of and be able to see at a quick glance, and then dig down into the number of cases people have in your offices and what case types they are, what's their case weighting or case load. And so we're working on building out new ways to easily see those instead of having to go through a full report line by line, having a way to visualize that on a dashboard on your home screen. And so this is something that we're working heavily on making more efficient and more useful for you, coming soon down the road in LegalServer. Some of the other things also in the works. We're working with some different states on some court integrations to allow us to automatically by API pull in data from a court to either create brand new cases in LegalServer without having to enter them in, similar to the automated intake, but actually pulling the data from the court to create those new cases. Beyond that, though, looking at updating those cases if something changed in the court information, and or adding new events, court hearings and what have you to those cases. As the court puts that into their system, we will use the APIs to pull that information and automatically add it to LegalServer. We're also working on a lot of API endpoints to allow people to create new information via API, including things like in the Contractor module. and creating new notes or events or new cases. We are also working on enhancements to like the flow block, the enhanced charges block, and other PD features. One of the things that I'm excited about is doing additional updates to our case credits to help monitor caseloads, to make that more useful for public defenders as well. And obviously, based on some of the last things I talked about, we're looking heavily into adopting and integrating the new AI tools and machine learning to make LegalServer more powerful and more useful, to make it more efficient and more time-saving for you and your staff. If you have some ideas of things that you may want to do or build within LegalServer, we'd be interested in hearing from you. How do you request new development? Well, easy. We have a site on our help site, a page on our help site, that allows you to talks about requesting a new feature. You can hit us up on our support channel or submit a ticket from your site, but that help page is a good way to get started there. So we can talk about maybe a project to work with you to build out some new tool, or make some new enhancement, and or do some sort of integration with some outside project that you're working on to make LegalServer a better platform for you and your staff. If you do have questions, make sure to reach out to us. As I mentioned, our support email address is the best way to do that, support@legalserver.org. We obviously have different training sessions and office hours you can attend and ask your questions in person there. Also, definitely check out our resources like our YouTube channel and our help site. Try to answer those simple questions. That's a great way to get your questions answered, But I think that you'll find that we'll be amenable to trying to help you solve the issue you're dealing with at the time. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you learned something new, and I look forward to seeing you on our future training. And hopefully you found a couple nuggets here that may be useful to you in LegalServer.